Hey guys, I'm Maddie and welcome back to my channel. I have officially reached 1 month sober, free from alcohol, and let's talk about it. For those of you that don't know, April 15th of this year, I gave up alcohol, and today is actually the 17th of May, so I'm a month and 2 days sober. I was using alcohol as a coping mechanism to distract myself from life, to numb out, and to avoid all of my issues and things I didn't like about my life and myself. Anyways, there's a whole video all about that, so I'm not going to get into it here. But let's talk about what this last month was like, because it was a roller coaster. I'm not going to break this up between like the benefits and the downfalls. We're just going to kind of go about this conversationally, talk about things as they come up. So the first thing is my skin has been improving. Not only the skin on my face, I do have a couple of breakouts right now, but compares to what it was like, and also my hands. For those of you that know, I was really bad at picking my cuticles, but my hands look really great right now actually, and my nails are growing out. My skin is a lot more hydrated. It's not as textured and looks a lot smoother. I don't feel like it gets as oily either. Like, it was very dry and flaky, but also had an overproduction of oil, especially in my T-zone. Sugar cravings. Let's talk about food, because when I gave up alcohol, my cravings for sugar skyrocketed. I wanted all of the carbs and all of the sweet junk food. I just couldn't get enough of it. That was really bad, like probably a week into being sober, but now I'm starting to get a better hang of it and a better management over my cravings, and they've kind of subsided. As of right now, I haven't had any uncomfortable social situations where people are pressuring me to drink or asking why I'm not drinking. No one has said anything about it, and I've gone to a birthday party, I've gone out with friends, and it's just not a thing. I don't know if that's like getting older and people are just more aware of it and just don't care anymore. Because when you're in like your early 20s, late teens, it's a pretty big thing and people take note if you're not drinking, but now I just haven't been affected by it. I have a lot more creativity, and I think that's because a lot of like my blocks are down and I sit with who I really am. I didn't have the masking of being drunk or being under the influence of alcohol. I'm able to tap into my creativity more easily, and it flows a lot better too. I do have a bit less energy though. I feel just a little like blah, sometimes a bit of like brain fog, but just a little sluggish. Again, it is getting better, but I still notice it. I think especially on weekends, because it was so habitual to go and drink and to have that boost. Whereas now it's like I am ready for bed by 9:30. I have a lot more motivation to better myself in a lot of aspects of my life. Like, I'm reading more self-help books, self-discovery I've been like tapping into. I am working out more, taking my health more seriously and my fitness, and just want to be a better person. But there is kind of a negative aspect to that as well, because I feel like I'm trying to make up for lost time and time that I spent drinking and being drunk and letting loose. I feel like I now need to put in extra effort to make up for that time that I was neglecting myself. In turn, with putting more effort into who I am as a person, both like emotionally and physically, my self-worth has gone up, and I feel deserving of good things. I feel deserving to look after myself and to put my needs first, which is a great feeling. It doesn't come very easily to me, but it is becoming more second nature at this point. I also have a lot more awareness of my thoughts, and whether that's like good or bad, and also my self-sabotaging habits, some things that I don't like how I cope, and my self-destructive behaviors. I'm just much more in tune with myself and not so dull when it comes to how I act and how I cope myself and how I self-soothe and sabotage. I'm just aware of all of the different parts of me, and it's very interesting and cool to see, and I like it. I like this feeling. It is, I'm starting to like myself. I like to get to know myself and learn ways where I can work with me to improve myself, but also realize things that are just a part of who I am and that are never going to change, and become neutral about them. Not like them, not feel pressured and going against myself to try to change those things, but just accepting them. kind of like having less energy. I did start off with like a little bit of a lower mood and just felt kind of dull all around. I didn't feel great about myself. I thought this is going to be really hard. I was pretty hopeful and optimistic at the beginning, like that this was going to go well, but I kind of was just dragging my feet, having a little bit of a pity party for myself and just being like, oh, this kind of sucks. Like, again, this is another point. I'm very anxious for weddings this summer and going out to big parties like that and like buck and does, bachelorettes, and being around that large of quantity of drunk people and of alcohol, and how I'm going to handle myself there, and going to like concerts, music festivals, things like that, just where alcohol would have been very normal for me to consume and where a lot of people around me are going to be consuming it. And I'm not here to like change people or to pressure them to stop drinking. That's not what I want at all. This is just a decision I've made for myself, and if they want to do that, like, great. I don't want them to feel weird drinking around me either. I just am anxious for how I'm going to be, because when I get anxious, I revert into myself heavily and become not bitchy, but I just know I appear closed off to other people, and I hope I don't revert back to those mannerisms. I hope I'm still able to be that loose, fun self I am when I'm drinking, but be able to tap into that when I'm sober. Anyways, this month has actually flown by. It went incredibly fast, which I'm very thankful for, because I think if it were to have dragged on, it would have been very hard for me and very challenging and trying, but it flew by. I did have some social situations, not too many of them, but definitely a few where alcohol was consumed, and I didn't relapse. I didn't cave in. I don't really like the word relapse for my situation. I just don't think it really fits, because I am abstaining from alcohol for a year. I don't know if it's going to be a lifelong decision, but I'm trying for a year. And relapsing just has such a negative, heavy connotation to it that it makes me feel kind of icky. So I just like, I don't know, like a slip up. I know it's all saying the same thing, but just a relapse feels like too harsh of a word. But I don't have to worry about that right now because I haven't experienced it. So anyways, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!